So would you mind introducing yourself first, Chloe, and just telling us why you decided to study theology here, please?
Yeah, so I'm American and from California, San Francisco. And actually over the pandemic, I got involved with a young adult community here in Dublin, a young Catholic Jesuit community, and began integrating with them. And actually through that community, I learned about this program. Michael is the spiritual director of one of the people in that community. And a bit about my story, I actually came into the faith only 8 years ago, so I didn't grow up in it. Like I said, I'm from San Francisco, which is very post-religious, very secular. And so this movement was part of wanting to deepen my relationship to my faith. I sort of came in from a very experiential, like, people who had really lived the love of God. That's what brought me in. But now I wanted to talk about, like, be able to talk about it, be able to talk about what I've experienced, and root it in the history of the church and the broader theology. So it's really been a journey of deepening for me.
And has the course helped you in being able to talk?
Yeah. In understanding the like primary key influences, your slide on Augustine, and a lot of the work we did in the first term in the classical theologies module, where it's like all of the main, the most potent theological influences over the last 2,000 years. I feel like that was a huge breadth of foundation of just a lot of the things we hear. They're rooted in these historical figures, and so there's that. And then also, just over the, I guess just yes.
Okay.
Could go into more detail, but
we like clear answers. Yes.
Yes.
So it did help her to articulate more, go deeper into understanding about God, and as they say, God matters. Thanks, Chloe. Come back to you in a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
My name is David Rose. I'm Irish. I'm from Drogheda originally. I'm married. I've 3 children, and I suppose way back in the day I would have studied philosophy and some theology. So I've always had an interest in theology. I think of the definition of theology as faith, seeking understanding, and I certainly think here in the Loyola Institute it certainly helped that. My own faith to be deepened and to have a much broader and deeper understanding of some of the really big questions in life, around faith, the existence of God, good and evil, the role of the church, all of that, So it's helped me to, I suppose, ask the questions or navigate those questions and to come to a deeper understanding of them. In my work, I work for the Association of Missionaries and Religious of Ireland. So I work a lot with church people, with the heads of religious orders, priests, nuns, bishops, So doing the course, it sort of gave me that appreciation and understanding of church and the theology of church as well, So it sort of fed into my work and helped me with my work. Just one little story. During the week, my youngest daughter, after a big argument, informed me that she brightened my mind, as a result of her arguments. But I would say studying here has certainly brightened my mind, and opened it up, Yeah.
Have you found it, as many of you will know, we're going through a synodal process in the church at the moment, and David, you're in the middle of that. So have you found that the studying of theology has helped you engage more fruitfully with the synodal process?
I would certainly think so. I've been quite involved in it, and I'm doing my thesis on synodality. This is a global consultation that the Pope has initiated, asking all the people of God, what do we think of the church, or where is God calling the church to be in this present time, you know. So it certainly has helped me in that regard. Yeah.
Thank you. And Chloe, you came to theology sort of from a spirituality type of background, and just to move the spirituality to prayer life, how do you see the interaction between theology and your relationship with God, your prayer life, your work in the church? Does theology help prayer, or as some people fear, does theology turn you off prayer?
Didn't prep me for this one.
Sorry.
No, that's
Just came
okay.
to me.
I would say that the experience I'm having with theology is more about being able to communicate my experience of prayer. And it's more about communication and understanding than it is about actually maybe infusing a deeper experience of prayer. I actually feel like I was very formed in that, and then, you know, but my family aren't believers, and a lot of my friends aren't believers, and when I talk about prayer, I want to be able to communicate these experiences in ways that are you know, able to be understood, and with language that's accessible and relevant. And that's where I feel like this degree and this time is helping enable me to communicate that more effectively.
And I suppose that's the reality for many of us. We're living in a world in which most of the people we associate with, even though they may have grown up in the Ireland of easy grace, if you like, don't really know anymore what Christianity is or what Catholicism is. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, what was the most challenging part of the course to you?
So can I say one of my favorite parts first?
Yes.
Because they go hand in hand, actually.
Perfect.
Because I was just thinking about that earlier, and I think definitely one of my favorite parts of the course is the breadth that we cover, but also the freedom to really hone in on what is interesting to me. So, you know, we cover a lot of ground, but then the actual place that we go deep is something that I really want to become an expert at, or just learn and really focus on. But at the same time, I think the challenge is, is not being able to go deep on everything, for one. You know, you can only cover so much ground. And then I think the second half of that, too, is, you know, the deeper you go, the more you arrive at the mystery. And a lot of, you know, I really love articulating things really precisely, especially when it comes to the experiences that I've had and wanting to express and communicate those. But at a certain point, you kind of you have to rest in the mystery of God, and I think many times we land there, and it can be frustrating and also humbling and also freeing as well.
Thank you. Yeah, well put. Okay, David, to you as well. What was the most challenging and what's the most enjoyable or interesting, insofar as you can?
Yeah. I would say the enjoyable piece was the fact that the classes were small, and there was opportunity to ask questions, and there was no stupid questions. You know, we were very much encouraged to ask questions and engage in debate and discussion with each other and with the lecturer. You know, so that was really helpful to the learning. What was difficult was more, and I'm doing it part-time, which is really good, but I'm also working full-time. You know, so it's always a stretch to get the essays in on time, you know. But I think because the classes are in the evening, that's a real good help. And again, there's lots of support from the lecturers there, you know. So just getting that balance. But I think it's the sense of discovery and learning that sort of kept me going, or, you know, sees me through it. You know, it really ignited a real passion for learning about the faith. You know. Yeah.
Thank you. So David just highlighted a point there that I was going to go on to say, is that you can do the MPhil full-time or part-time. So David is doing it part-time, so these two students actually haven't been in class together. Chloe is doing it full-time this year, so she does all the modules this year and she does her dissertation this year, and I'll say more about that in a moment. Whereas David did all his modules last year, and this year he's writing his dissertation. That's the main. But it does help some people to break it up a bit, and others it doesn't work out. It's easier for Chloe and better for her, given that she's from the States, she's here for a year, she's going to do the work and keep going through. Although she's also working, but not full-time. So we have the classes in the evening to enable that.